see. All right, looks like it's working. Let's see here. All right, we'll be back in about 3 minutes. Allow people time to get in the house. All right. This one is dedicated to Melissa in her spirit. It's Todd Medina, SoulogyOneStudios, bringing you a little church on Sundays, Soulogy style. Woo! Hit it! Woo! Before us all. Some would call it the river of faith, to others it is a river of fear. On the other side is a timeless truth laying deep within our gifts and dreams. We may approach this river in mass, yet each one of us will crease the peace of the still and cool waters alone. How deep and dark they may be beneath the shadow of the sun. When will we know, and tell me, when will we be done? Questions of faith, questions of fear. I cannot carry both with me, nor is there a bounty underfoot. So I'm gonna leave fear behind. I'm gonna take faith with me, cause I am soul. Oh hell yeah. Woo! Hit it! Yeah, we're on, let me stop this. Uh-oh. All right, let's get, okay, what happened to Melissa? All right, hang on. Oh, there she is. I already pushed the button. Like, what happened to Melissa, man? What's going on, Melissa?
How do we follow that?
Follow what?
I'm here and I'm just doing this shit. It was awesome.
I pulled that one out from the archives. Well, I sometimes like to play the intros. Let me pull up Facebook real quick because I don't have access, and I'm going to ask. I need to share it to a couple of groups. But yeah, I tried to pull out something this morning. I thought, you know what? I want to pull one out that fits Melissa.
Oh, thank you.
So,
I feel very humble now.
Yes, I went down into the archives and found that one. Okay, let me share this. Hello, everybody. If you would be so kind to share, I really would appreciate it. We're having some issues with Facebook for the last 3 weeks. So if you get knocked off of this broadcast, hang on, like I got people. If you get knocked off of this broadcast repeatedly, there's the Zoom link. and you can go to the Zoom link and you can watch it in Zoom. And how do I make this? I don't know. Too complicated. Anyway, so yeah, if you could. Oh wait, that's it. Okay, hang on. All right, here we go. All right. So hello everybody. I see there's 40 people in the house. If you could share this out, I really would appreciate it. And if somebody could share it to the Soulogy group, I would appreciate it. Okay, back to Melissa. So that song was dedicated to you because I felt like of the 100 Soul Speaks, that was the one that fit you best.
I loved it. I loved it. I love the dance and I love the moves.
So how are you doing? What's going on?
I'm great. How about you?
You look fantastic. Well,
thank you. I feel good.
Yeah, I've been processing a lot of stuff like everybody has for the last, 10 days or 100 days?
Yeah.
But I've been watching Outlander with Morgan as a means of processing that series, that TV series about the time travel. So I'm learning a new language, Scottish. I know how to say I.
Yeah, I heard you practicing. I was praying that you weren't going to take a shot at the Irish accent tonight.
I honestly, I don't even. Well, I do know the difference. I do know the difference between the two. But yeah, I'm just playing around. You know that, and you can play with my accent too.
Yeah.
So yes.
I was going to say, you hit the nail on the head there straight off the bat. Processing. If you haven't been processing or feeling this energy in the last, for me, definitely the last 2 months have been an absolute whirlwind.
Yeah.
And if you haven't felt it, then you're dead. That's all. You're dead.
That sounds like the post Nikki Hammond put up I saw this morning when I was still half asleep. And it said, if you haven't cried or something else, then you're dead.
Oh, it's been phenomenal though. Like, I mean, what a way to highlight anything in your life that's out of alignment with who you are in order to make room for this magic. It's just been incredible and not easy, as you've found yourself the hard way, and I have as well, because what we're doing is we're in the throes of it, and then we're showing up to share our experiences while hanging on for dear life.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. It's not easy for anybody, but it's such a gift. There's such a gift in this energy right now. If you can just hold the line and not lose your shit.
Yeah.
Stay in your lane and just turn in.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It is. I don't even know how far back you can go, but so you got July and June, May. I don't know. They've all been. But what I've noticed is I was telling Morgan last night. So like this is like the third month in a row, maybe fourth month in a row, where the cycle's been the same. Like whatever, there's some kind of theme during the month, then you get into this awareness, and then you go into this dip, and then this thing goes up, and then this thing goes down. And then I get towards the end of the month, and it's like, oh my God, rent's going to be coming, and you start getting all the, constricted, and this month, and it's always works out some crazy way at the last minute. You're always on time, like the universe is telling you, just hold, like you said, just hold. Yeah. And this month, I'm not that I was freaking out a lot, but I'm not freaking out. I'm just like, okay, whatever it is, it's okay. You know what I mean? It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
So, but you're right. There's something really magical and opportunistic right now.
Yeah.
And
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just wanted to compliment you because I wanted to say, people like you, others look at people like you and they're like, oh man, she's got it together. She's a steamroller. She's a bulldozer. She's a firecracker, cheerleader, angel, goddess, all in one. And she probably never has any issues.
I'd just like to take that opportunity to say that if you saw me 10 minutes ago before go live, or if you saw me at 4 o'clock today when I burnt the dinner, or no, I do not have my shit together on any levels, but I'll show up anyway because, well, that's what we're here for, isn't it? So, no, I don't. I have the very same trials and tribulations that each and every person out there has. I go through the exact same roller coaster of emotions, the exact same integrations. I am hammered with as much turbulence as the next person. So I definitely do not have my shit together. But at the exact same time, this is the reason that irrespective of how this hammers me, I'll show up anyway, because my desire, how I can't put it any other way, so that other people know out there watching this even now, know that they are not on their own, that they are not under any circumstances going through any of this alone. And if I can pull my way out of the bits and pieces that I experience, well, then so can you, and so can you. And that's the way it's been over the last couple of weeks. It's just, there's no other way to put it. And excuse my language in advance.
Well, I didn't hear you say anything bad.
I didn't say it yet, but the absolute.
I thought you were going to say it's an MFER.
No, well, almost. I was going to say the absolute fuckery of the mind on ourselves, on us over the last 6 weeks. Oh my God. So yeah. we had a period prior to the eclipse energy where we were nearly being told on some level, get your shit together, lads. Yeah. This is going down. With or without your consent, this is going down. And we're going to take out anything that's not in alignment with you. So yeah. You can either come compliantly or you're going to come in locks, but you're coming one way or the other. And then we have this eclipse energy. And sweet and gentle Jesus, I've never experienced anything like this before, because
really?
What the mind did, and this is just my own personal experience of what happened, but what the mind did was it came for my survival tools, the things that have gotten me through all of my trauma, all of my experiences, everything that has gotten me to this part of my life, the things that saved me, if that makes sense, the things that have made me who I am right now. Well, the mind came for those things, and it tested them to within an inch of my being. And because they have served me so well, it was the biggest test of my life not to falter and run back to old ways of being and living and doing that in essence broke me then. It came after me personally in my integrity, which is extremely important to me. And it basically tried to turn the whole topic, or the whole value rather, of integrity inside out for me, and nearly used it against me. So it was like it came and used our superpowers against us. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it does, because I'm actually watching something play.
Yes.
Played in our circle, Morgan and I.
Yeah.
It's not just one person. I like how you put that about the integrity thing and how the mind fuckery, because like, okay, so like all this stuff we did in the name of love, in the old 3D paradigm, the sacrifice, the suffering, the pain, it wasn't real. It was conditional love, or however you want to look at it. So I see what you're saying, because like now we've discovered the real true love. We're becoming it. And these old loops are playing, and it's like you have this pattern of, okay, something's energy comes towards you, and we have this pattern of grabbing it, and then it goes back and forth, right? And it just depletes the hell out of everybody. That's just what happened for centuries, right? So now we're having to make these new choices, and so I get what you're saying about the integrity, because it's like, okay, if I don't respond, or I don't engage this energy, then I don't have integrity. That's what the old world told us. You're a father, you need to do this. You're a husband, you need to do this. You're this, you need to do this. But now we have to say no. Yes. No, because to thine own self be true. That's where it all starts. That's where it all ends. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And so, I mean, in that week itself, I was due to do a webinar with Kerry Kay, and it was called Embodying the Divine Self. And let me tell you, I felt the furthest from divinity that week. And it literally is because I won't, I refuse to point blank show up if I cannot be all of me.
Yeah.
And it completely turned it upside down and inside out. So all of the stuff from the past, all of the experiences we all went through, or trauma, you name it, that's the hologram, that's the matrix, that's what served us in order to become who we are now.
Yeah.
The mind plays havoc with it and throws experiences in our way, which we have co-created, and says, keep moving forward with this new way of living, I dare you, when every odd feels like it's against you. I mean, everything. And when you get to what happened with me was I got to a point where I literally just dropped the struggle and went, to show up as divinity means to just show up as me.
Yeah.
And even tell the struggle to get to that point in that given day. So in between the two eclipse energies, we get a little bit of a breather, little bit, not much. And it's like, for me, that energy then came for the heart. So when it couldn't take down the mind, it came from the heart. And it basically went, let's see the one thing that Melissa wants to experience in this whole entire lifetime. And let's dangle that in front of her. And
Like
yeah, quite literally went, let's see if you choose this. Now, if we're going to give you this, it's like wrapping it up, here you go. This is what you're looking for, this beautiful crystal. This is what you want. Now, in order to get this, you have to compromise who you are now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, won't be happening.
No.
And then it ramped up, it intensified and went, but if you don't take this now, then. And what it did was, it called for the deepest depths of a knowing beyond trust, beyond the word trust, beyond the emotion of trust, beyond the feeling, experience of trust, and knowing. Despite what your past has told you, despite the evidence that the hologram threw up at your experience, in your experience, despite all of that, the universe went, let's see if you have what it takes to keep moving forward, to stay in your lane and stay focused on what it is you want wholeheartedly, and not feed into any branch of any loop of any story got to do with anything. And it nearly killed me.
Yeah.
It nearly killed me, and that's no word of a lie. And I did it. And I said yes to me in the biggest manner in which I've ever done in my life, and no to the situation or the illusion of the situation, because that's in essence what it was.
Yeah.
That was last week. And then this week, another integration and an even deeper understanding of that was, I honored myself in that given moment for my highest good. What I need this week calls for more action. And this is where I love your description of the human being the hero, because this is what I mean. I can go through life, end up on the spiritual path, end up understanding everything on a healing path, heal my trauma, heal all of my whole past, have no emotional attachment or charge to it, right? But if I don't, in the present moment, as the embodiment of me, Melissa, take action with my free will and choice to make a change, make a different choice,
Yes.
then you're just running back to the same thing all over and over again. Because what's happening now is you're being given, in the energy of the last 2 months in particular, you are being given everything you need, which ironically is inside.
Yeah.
And what's happening is these situations that are literally open in your face like this, going, deal with me now. I mean, now. There's no patience with this. If there is anything or anyone or any situation that is in your field now that is out of alignment with what is trying to be literally given to you, gifted to you, it's been taken down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this knowing is like a lifeline that carries us if we would only get out of our own way and trust in it, because it's like this. The universe can't give its little golden trail for us to pick up the pieces if we are still in the throes of our addictions, addicted to drama, addicted to trauma, addicted to our story, addicted to the hologram, to food, drink, drugs, rock and roll. Who knows? But it can't. It can't. It's impossible, because what you are is a vibrational mismatch. And now in these times, the second you think about something, it's like, okay, let's do this shit. And boom, it's up in your face.
Mhm.
It's crazy. So that's where a lot of the overwhelm appears to be coming in for people. You had Jason Estes last week on the show, and he's talking about like, he said something like, it's, you guys call it the faucet, is turned on, and it's not even on full whack, and people are losing their shit. But if you just stop and just be still, and have and fall into that knowing, that's when the magic can happen, and that's where transformation comes about.
Yeah, I like what you said about it's forcing you to this moment now, like, and then like all, like, okay, so we're seeing, and this is probably, I don't know if it's a harsh word. It's not a harsh word. Chaos. So we're seeing this chaos, right? And it's in different forms of chaos. It's just, what would you call it? Imbalance, or those loops are running, and we're watching it. It's like we're walking down this path, and all these little tornadoes are going by, and they're coming into our space, like to pull us in. And it could be anything. It could be, something in the matrix, structure, like finance issue or a legal issue, and it could be a potential drama issue with someone, and all this stuff's playing out. It's the same thing. Yeah. Every one of them is the same thing. Yeah. And so it's like weird, because it feels great to be in this, and you're like, oh my God, I'm so present, and I'm so locked in. But at the same time, like 90% of you is like going, whoa, what's happening here? Like, can I take a step here? It's so trippy.
It's so trippy.
It's like you feel like you're gonna, I don't know. I'm not over anxious about it, but it's like I'm walking down this road, and I'm like, is this really happening? Yeah. I mean, am I going to take a step here like in the past, and then everything's going to implode? No, I know it's not going to. And it is higher than a knowing. There's something for everything that we're talking about. There's something absolutely incredible happening, and we're part of it. And you said at the beginning of the show about yourself, and I said about everybody, we all showed up. That's where we need to start. If you want to find your value, think about that. You are one of billions of people, souls, who showed up here representing the multiverse. Like, this is the mission of all missions, at least to this point. It sure feels like it.
Yeah, it is. It's so trippy to be a part of, because like you said, my general state of being is just at ease, and it's peace. And whenever these situations present themselves, like, you can get pulled into it in a heartbeat, and then it's game over, because you're back in the exact same loop then that you started off. So you're observing that this is an illusion, that this is the story, that this is a hologram, but you're not in it.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
You're not actually in it, or you are.
And you can, like you said, you can easily get pulled into, we'll just say call it 3D and 5D. Mm-hmm. You can easily get pulled into those 3D loops, but that's okay. That's okay. If you get pulled in, at least we have the awareness now that we're getting pulled in, and we can pull ourselves out. The other thing that I picked up from my partner, my beloved partner, is she says, and that's okay. In other words, so-and-so's doing this, so-and-so's doing that, I'm doing this, you're doing that, and it's okay. If Todd needs to go out to the beach and howl at the moon for a couple hours, buck naked and scream, or whatever the case is, and that's okay. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? If somebody falls off the 5D wagon and gets pulled into something, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I think to me, it's a dual message. This self-value, self-respect, self-honor, self-love. Obviously, we do it here, and it immediately converts. It immediately changes our vision, or raises our perception, or raises our awareness, or makes our sight keener when we look at our mirrors, like I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
But there's something about the space, the space that I have. Let's just use me. I have this space in the universe. No one else has it. It's all I can be responsible for.
Yeah.
It's my contribution. And you have your space. And I respect my space, and I respect your space as I respect my own space. And I think that's a really cool, variable that's we can't put our finger on yet. What's that going to look like when everybody has that mutual respect, and the to thine own self be true becomes do unto others as you would, that's to me like really exciting when you don't have to deal with the BS, and telepathy is in full force, and transparency is the order of the day,
Yeah. Just to touch on what you said there, when you do find yourself making progress and then something pulls you sideways off of your path, this is where the self-compassion is key.
Yeah.
And to give yourself a break and do exactly like you described. Morgan says, literally to tell yourself it's okay. It's okay to fall back into old patterns, because we're hardwired for them.
Yeah.
It's now that when we've done the work now, it's only now that we're realizing just how much we've been through. And so it's only natural that we're going to slip back into these ways. But with the very disciplined response of owning the fact that you're there.
Yeah.
So if you're there, if I'm there, if I've fallen off, and if I find myself in the throes of drama, to give myself a break and say it's okay. However, let's take us out of here.
Yeah.
Because we don't need to stay here.
Yeah.
There's not one person going through something right now that doesn't have a choice.
Yeah. That's right.
It's easier for somebody to turn around and say, well, it's okay for you on the outside looking in. No, I have to claw myself out of my situations time and time again. So do you. So does everybody has to.
Yeah.
But this is where when I'm saying the human is the hero, because it takes a lot of strength to keep moving forward while we're being stripped of everything and anything that isn't and shouldn't be around us, that isn't serving our higher path.
Yeah.
It's bloody hard.
Yeah.
And there's more days that all I want to do is just close the door and pull up my hood and just chill out. But I have to people. But I'm seeing it. It's funny because, not that it's funny, but it's intriguing to watch, because here's another kind of a even more trippy side of it. If this is all an illusion, this is all a hologram, and it's just me and my world, and it's just you and your world, and everything and everyone are in our experiences are there for us. There's nothing more trippy than looking around you at some of the chaos and going, sweet Jesus, what have I created here?
Yeah.
And to literally just be able to sit back and observe it, observe the picture, and even more, when somebody triggers you, to see that as the mirror to you of who you were then.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're transcending this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the theme. That's the very much for me, in my experience, the theme of what I'm going through at the moment is quite literally to transcend the mind with the absolute trust of my heart now.
Yeah.
And to reaffirm to myself over and over, despite whatever goes down around me, you've got this.
Yeah.
Just be still, just breathe, and just be.
Yeah.
But we're hardwired to do the opposite. We're hardwired to react instead of responding.
Yeah.
And that's where all the chaos stems from. Half of the shit, most of the shit that people are dealing with isn't even theirs.
Right. And yes, it's a great point. And we're all in this together. So, You're right. It's not theirs, and either some energy came to them to try to pull them in, or they actually projected, or I actually projected something out that is mine, and I'm trying to make it somebody else's. I think this is big. To me, 99.99% of our navigation system is the human interaction, right? So, for instance, and I've talked about this a couple of times, I'm bringing it up one more time. This is all kind of like convoluted and confusing, and it's moving so fast, I don't even know what to do. I mean, I can talk to Morgan most of the time, but other people, if I'm not on the show, I can't even talk to people. So I might get a message and somebody's like, and I got hundreds of them, and they're like, whatever it says, and I just look at it. I can't answer it. I don't mean anything by it. And it could be something that has a potential flare up for drama, or it could be just something about, let's do a show. But the bottom line is I can't. It's taken everything I have to stay on top of my game. And if that means I've got to be in solitude or with Morgan or, in silence, oh my God, the silence is beautiful, right? We go for rides 10 times a day. We don't even say anything half the time. We just ride, I mean, I don't know what to do. And I just know what to do for me. And when I don't know what to do or say, I don't do anything.
Yeah.
Because I feel, what? If somebody or an energy approaches me, whatever it brings to me, if I don't know what to say, I feel like that to say nothing is a better, a more positive step than to say something and go off half-cocked or blurt out some ridiculous, or project or whatever the case is. I want to respect that in myself, and I want to respect it in other people,
Yeah.
Because I think it's part of this vibration, it's part of this transparency, trust, unconditional love, whatever it is we're walking into, which is incredible.
To expand on that, that's pretty much the way I am as well. And it's like I can probably have a very open, raw conversation with maybe 3 people on the planet right now, where I can literally just give it my all. And in a learning dream that I experienced a couple of weeks back, I got 2 very key pieces of information. One was, we actually have unlocking keys within each of us. So I have a piece of your puzzle and you have a piece of mine. Yeah. And in our connection with each other, we actually have the capacity, while remaining sovereign, to help unlock the other person even further, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. The other thing was, I heard as well, I'm not sure if you're familiar with sound frequencies, but this piece of information might help anybody watching it. And it was specifically, word for word, the 432 frequency will help keep the veil back and for people to flood themselves with that frequency. And I happened to actually open my eyes and it was 4:32 a.m. in the morning, and I looked at my phone and I saw it. And then I just nodded back off to sleep and forgot about it. I forgot about it. But that's something that I do on a daily basis is use these sound frequencies. So while we're trying to hold our own in the middle of 2 worlds almost colliding, one that we're trying to expand and evolve from, and the other one while we're descending into, we've got absolute huge growing pains. The information that we have for each other is one thing, right? And this is where you've got to be so disciplined with this mind of yours, because it's your superpower too. Mm. It's after getting you as far as here in one piece, we're asking it at the same time to stand down, trust the heart, I got this. But when we allow ourselves to get pulled into other people's stories, what it also does is the hologram. Okay, how will I describe this? Say, I'm going to use the analogy, and it's actually from a movie. I'm not going to tell anybody what the movie is because I don't want to ruin it, but the hologram being made up of multiple drones. So you've got multiple drones everywhere that project the illusion of something.
I saw that movie last week.
Okay, then you know better than to even say those blasphemous words.
Yeah.
Marvel fans everywhere. But so you've got like that, the multiple drones that project the hologram and the illusion.
Yeah.
So what we've done is we have the understanding now that the only way to take down this picture, this hologram, this matrix, is from the inside, one thing at a time, discarding it one thing at a time. Does this serve me? Yes. Keep that drone. Does it disempower me? No, that's knocked down. And then what happens is the picture becomes really sketchy. And this is the work we're doing in isolation on our own. We're taking down these drones one by one that produces this hologram. The second you speak or get caught up with another person's story or any part of your old story that still remains unhealed or unattended to, it's like the drone that you took down is rebooted, and your picture goes back up.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say here very diplomatically is if there's somebody or something, situation that you do not want to be around, for the love of God, use your free will and say no. Because no, all by itself, is a sentence. No. Would you like to come with us? No. Can you do this? No. I don't care what it is. And like if anybody out there is going, well, how will I know? Your whole body will communicate with you.
Yeah.
Through your emotions, through your feelings, again, that are there to serve you. So be it at your own cost, if you go and engage in anything with anyone that is not serving you, you're going to find out very rapidly.
Yeah, it's going to come to the surface. And this energy, one way or the other, it's going to come to the surface. Even if it's a mutual drama session, it's still not going to hide the truth. Eventually, somehow, some way, it's going to come to the surface. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
You know, if someone or someone's have the desire to expand and grow, you know, the universe is making things more and more obvious, louder and louder. But I love what you said about no is a sentence. And no to me is the same thing as what I was saying about the solitude and the privacy and the non-response. You know, if somebody says no, respect it.
Yes.
And if somebody doesn't say anything to you, respect it. Have a little faith. Don't let your imagination, these were the loops start. Oh my God, what is she thinking? Oh my God, she owes me an explanation. Oh my God, I can't believe they didn't answer in 2 minutes, you know, in the electronic age. And they read my message, but they haven't answered.
There's the mind fuckery right there.
Right, exactly. So, and that's where, to me, it's kind of gotten easier for me, has been really actually the first 5 days of this month, which were an absolute, I mean, you know what? It was a beautiful blessing and gift. It was the biggest shift I ever had. But in those 5 days walking around, I got to the point where, well, why am I thinking about this? And why am I thinking about that? Because if I'm thinking about this person or that person, him or her or whatever, I'm not doing me. You know what I mean? Like if I'm sitting here going, okay, why hasn't she spoken to me? What's going on with her? What's going on with him? Why did he do that? And I'm not taking care of me. And so in that 5 days, I started like, okay, I'm really not just saying it, but like, okay, this ain't about nobody. This ain't about nobody but me. And so made me feel uncomfortable. Why am I uncomfortable? If I'm a divine human being and I believe all this stuff that I've been getting, that we've all been getting, then what the hell, why am I worried about this? Like, what, you know what I mean?
Yet, generationally, you taking those action steps in the past and by everyone and anything around you, they'd like, see that Todd Medina guy? He is selfish as,
Yeah.
Right? Or on another scale, you feel like you're cracking up because of this internal conflict in your head. I'm a divine human being. No, you're just losing your shit, man. And you know, this mind chatter, it's outrageous.
Yeah.
It's outrageous because this place that everybody is finding themselves now, it's like everybody is wandering around here aimlessly, no idea where they're going, no idea what they're doing, blind, just kind of feeling their way through things. And that's what it is. You've got to feel your way through this.
Yeah.
There's the mind doesn't belong here anymore.
Yeah.
It's trust. Here's the thing, right? As you turn around and start to say yes to you and no to anything that doesn't honor you on all levels, the mind comes in, because what we're craving from the day we incarnate in here is connection.
Yeah.
And what we experience is the polar opposite, so that we can find our way back to that.
Yeah.
Then you go and take yourself into isolation with these thoughts of yours. The mind will tell you you're losing your shit, or you're disconnecting even further from people. So you're definitely going to be lonely. And based on the experience that you had, in order to even get the understanding that connection is what we're here for, the tricks that it can play on you are out of this world. And the only way to combat that, for anyone watching, from my perspective, my vantage point, is with pure presence.
Yeah.
Presence is the new prayer. To be as present as you possibly can be in that moment, this moment, the next moment, but now, be here now, over and over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And listen to him.
Yeah. I don't know. I love that. The presence is the new prayer. And then also the thing about feeling. Stop thinking and feel. You know, I was saying that last night, like, what am I feeling? I kept like talking about this couple of subjects, couple of the potential dramas, right? And I'm like saying to Morgan, to myself, like, what am I actually feeling? What am I feeling right now? And yeah, so that's a big part of it. And you know, honestly, I don't know what it's like for a long time to go through it alone. And when I say a long time, this is the ascension, or this is whatever we call this period. A long time is 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Morgan's been back for probably 3 months. But in this time, in this last 90 days together that we've had, we actually, and as you're talking about it, I'm realizing that I don't do a lot of it alone. That how does somebody actually do that? Or I don't know. But my point is, we talk about this stuff, and that's not what it's about. What it's about is, we actually, in talking about it, we're staying present. We're checking our pulse. You know, we're discussing things. We're just observing things. Like you said, we're all walking around. We have no idea where the hell we're going. You know, and it's like, but it's like you're there. But it doesn't feel right, because it was never like this before. Anything that potentially felt like this, or created a vision or an image in our head like that we're actually in, was a fairy tale or a fantasy, or you needed to be locked up in the psych ward, you know. Yeah. But it's actually it's in the humanness of the experience, in the uneasiness and the uncomfortableness, that we actually find and expand, because we're not running from it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We're not running anymore. We're not saying, get me out of here. Oh, I'm not like that. No, we're all like that.
Yeah.
We're all like that.
So, for me, it's like being at a silent disco with blindfolds on, because the noise is outrageous and you don't know where you're going because you're blindfolded and you're trying to feel your way through shit. So you've got two choices.
Yeah.
Honor the body, honor the breath, honor the mind, and honor the heart, or not. Yeah. You can dance to the music, or you can keep struggling to try and get out of where you are, but you're going nowhere, because all you ever have is now.
Yeah, that's a good point. It really is. Wow, that was a good one.
I may watch that back too, because I'll
That's-
be losing my shit in about 2 days' time and going, how do I do this? How do I cope with this?
Yeah, it's just the human is a hero, and like I was having I was watching that show Outlander, trying to brush up on my Scottish. I and but there was a really almost horrific. I don't see the horrific anymore, but it was a really intense, dark episode involving the masculine guy, and he was in prison and all this bad stuff happened to him, and it brought back certain things to me, really energetic things, like impressions, like that I just bore these, like we all did, these heavy crosses and these secrets and lies and all this stuff. And on one hand, it was nice to be able to take on this energy and feel that it was benign, that it didn't make these impressions on me, or I didn't go into PTSD, and we all have these. And then on the other hand, I saw how deep I went and how far I've come, and again, it's, hey, we all showed up. That in itself, that can't be taken away from us.
No, never. And if anything, what we all should be doing, instead of knocking each other down, is building each other up with the support to literally remind each other how far we've come. In order to get to this point where people are brave enough to deal with and look in and face their shadows, that takes bravery beyond words. And to even be compassionate with yourself as you do that takes even more. It's so much easier for me to start, judging myself for all that I got wrong up to now, rather than say, holy shit, you're after doing an awesome job.
Yes. Yeah.
So much easier. It's so much easier for us to pick out our faults and flaws. It's so much easier for us to, like I said, fall back into that same cycle of, even thinking about it triggers my shit. Because you know what? It breaks my heart for humanity, what we have gone through to get to this point. And everybody is weary. But there's still something in each and every person that wants and knows that there is better waiting for them. This is where you have got to embody everything that you have learned to date. There is no point in me turning around and having understood or learned about spirituality without the human bringing in the practicality right alongside that and implementing the change that I want to see in my world. Otherwise, it's a waste.
Well, and
it's
at this point, we can't go back. Like,
never.
Each one of us has, we asked the question on the show, when did you have your awakening? Most people had some kind of trauma or whatever, but something was alerted. The soul woke up, or the communication line between the soul or the higher self, however you want to call it. And once it starts stirring, you can't stop it. And now it's become a more expansive thing, and we can sit here and talk about stuff like this, and people were like, they're even past the whole, I'm not the only one anymore. I'm starting to see it to where the conversations and the frequency is.
That's the universe trying to get your attention, just like that. Keep up with your shit, and we're going to do this.
But isn't that the truth? Everything's speaking to you, right?
Yes, everything.
Yeah,
everything.
But I see it as something's really shifted these last few weeks, and maybe even to your point, the last 2 or 3 weeks. And it's like, even like one of the things I've noticed is the whole alternate news vibration. The whole thing about what's going on in the world, and the white hats are saving us, and spaceships are landing, and pedophiles are going to jail and all this stuff, right? It's like, it's not, and I know it's so real, and it certainly serves symbolically, metaphorically, literally our journey. We designed this perfect thing, but it's like the human, the individual, the self, the soul has become the priority, period. And not out of fear, you know, like religion, you know, which was an authority saying, hey, you better do this and pay your taxes and wipe your butt or you're not going to heaven, okay? But this is different. These are people actually saying, I choose me.
Yes.
You know, I choose me no matter what. I'm not going to watch that show. I'm not going to watch the news. I'm not going to read this book. I'm not going to do what people tell me to do. I'm going to do me.
Yeah.
Period. You know,
and when you honor that, watch the magic that happens. Watch the magic that happens. That's all I'm going to say. I think personally, to answer your question, I think what's happening is, as you're tending to your hologram and your drones that project the picture, and I'm tending to mine, and the next person is tending to theirs, and more and more people now, more than ever, get that this is an inside job, that it's just me here. I'm the creator of this, and I'm in charge of operating all of the drones that come together to create this image.
Yeah.
And I feel personally, what's happening is, this is a time where everybody is rumbling their own projections, and collectively, the picture, the unified picture, is starting to drop.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Those pieces of the picture are starting to drop, and as they drop, it's almost like it's like what is in one is in the whole. So as I'm working on my individual picture, and things fall away from me, and then the old version of me, which is fighting for survival, goes, Melissa, this is all in your head. This is an illusion. Stop this shit. Fear excels. And that's what I think is going down in the world. So the more that you take your awareness away from anything in your own, Todd Medina's world, the picture can't sustain. It's impossible.
No.
So if everybody in the whole entire world is tending to their own stuff, and everybody wants the same thing, that's where a miracle can happen. That's where transformation occurs.
Yeah. And you know, I think another thing too, first of all, I'm getting downloaded big time, like in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Like, it's almost making me like wanting to cry. And it's actually, I can see your higher self, which I think to the human eyes would probably scare a lot of people. And I don't mean that in the wrong way. I just mean your spirit in this moment, what I'm seeing or being shown to me is like, whoa, it's like some deep, deep stuff. I can't even describe it. It's an off-planet being, basically. But what I was going to say is that one of the things too about going, I tell myself a lot, go easy on yourself and go easy on everybody else, because we're all going through the same thing. And in that same type of frequency is, we were raised in an illusion, or this hologram, or however you want to put it, that flip this switch, take this pill, take this course, read this book, marry this person, whatever, flip a switch and it's done. Okay. And this doesn't work that way. This is one step at a time. One step at a time. Fall off the 5D wagon for a second, get back up, dust yourself off one step at a time. But those steps are being answered. That's instant manifestation. I mean, they're being answered like that now. And everybody's talking about it. People come on the show and they'll say, I was thinking about having, peanut butter and jelly. And an hour later, my daughter walked in with a sandwich. I'm using a funny example, but people experience that on a small level and a large level too. The universe is reciprocating. It's matching us And it always has, but we weren't conscious. We weren't aware. We didn't know it was a freaking hologram. We didn't know that that was all on us. We thought people were doing this stuff to us, and now we figured it out, and it's moving fast. So, in
it's
a month,
beautiful when you can be in that receiving. The last time I was on with you, I'd been at the Sweat Lodge, and one of my objectives was to clear anything that blocked me from receiving the abundance of the love that I am. And once I did that, once I did the work, to be able to receive all of these little things, because it's a culmination of all the little things, it's just magic.
Yeah.
But it really does. People want to say, I want to manifest this, then you have got to start it with saying yes to you.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is you're sending out a very, very fierce, strong signal to the universe with a very strong vibration.
Yeah.
Saying, I am enough, I am worthy, I am love, and you will be met with it. Like you just said, and it actually nearly broke my heart hearing what you said, genuinely. Everybody was so distracted with the story up until now that they didn't even know. They didn't know.
No.
And it's heartbreaking because so many people who have gone before us really did take some epic amounts of shit in order for us to get to this point where we're now saying, I am done.
Yeah.
I'm done. Yeah. So it's up to each and every one of us to quite literally own this shift. Yeah. The shift in awareness, the shift in consciousness, shift in action, and become the change.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it when you're saying that. I see it as, you see it in yourself and in other people. As they start to illuminate, people consciously and probably mostly unconsciously want a piece of it. It's like a big light goes off in a field of lights, but a bigger, brighter one starts to burn light, and the other lights start to run toward it. Like, what is that? What is that? So when you're saying that, I can see this is just my own mind and imagination, so it's real for me. I see the universal field and I see one light start to shine. And what's that coming to that light? It's not necessarily just what comprises the universal field. Souls, So the universe itself is coming to you, wanting to see, how are you doing that? How do we match that? How do we increase this illumination? And we have in this realm in the past, and it's going down. When somebody illuminates, it creates some havoc because that illumination's casting shadow, right? But I think now people are starting to, with more people are owning their shift. More people are catching themselves projecting. Yeah. And if they're not, to your point earlier, they're going to be shown. The universe is going to show.
Yeah, you said it's like the universe is coming to us.
Yeah.
To remind us that we are the universe, and this new way of being is to shine, is to go out there and be the light that you are. And to anybody who can't handle that goddamn light, give them shades.
Yeah, that's right.
But don't compromise who you are just because somebody else can't handle that light. I'm going to have to remind myself of that.
Well, if you think about it, if you're shining your light in this at this point, if the soul's becoming illuminated, then out of the pure love that the God substance is, the universe is coming to that light. The other souls are coming to that light. They want to expand that light. By the same token, if I'm asleep in any aspect, any part of my life, I'm on the 3D trail in whatever part of my life I am, out of that same pure love, God substance, the universe is going to come, and it's going to look like a swift kick in the ass versus a big hug, but it's the same thing, and we can do it like you said earlier. Well, basically you said, let go or be dragged, because this shift has gone down. It's not going down. It's already gone down. And that's another thing. I really think that energetically, something huge has happened this month. Energetically, it's done. Now it's just a matter of, like you said, embodying it, realizing it, and actualizing it.
Yeah.
And we can help that. We can help that. We can accelerate that, or whatever you want to call it, or whatever you want to do with it. And
yeah, it's like Jason Estes says, integrate and elevate. I love it. I love every time he says it. It lights me up. If you see somebody on the ground getting their butt kicked and you're not there, you're the one who's getting the warm universal hugs, help the other person up. Don't try and fix them, dust them off, and then get back in your lane. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't sit down on the ground with them, pacifying them, saying, you know, are you okay, hon? No.
Yeah,
help them up. Help them up, because you have got to maintain you.
Yeah, that's a good example. And sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself and for them is to leave them swimming in their own shift.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
because
think about
nobody came here. You had to go through your journey, your story, chapter by chapter, in order to kind of get to the place where you're going, I'm done with this book. As did I. Every single person is here for this, for their own individual experience. So yes, self-love sometimes is removing yourself from situations or from people who
that's
no
right.
longer serve you.
Well, you're still acting in the highest good. I mean, I'm not trying to validate or substantiate or rationalize, but I've got a situation. Do I have a situation? One of my children, okay, very young adult, living in a very difficult situation, you know, and I can see that, and then not even just one, actually, a couple of them, but I can see where I can hold space and let them honor their journey. You know, they're adults, honor their journey. And it's that whole thing we were talking about in the beginning, that loop. Oh, well, I'm supposed to do this and I'm supposed to do that. No, it's disempowering to the other person. Yeah. It's disempowering to me, debilitating to me. It's actually debilitating to the other person. You know, if we think about some of the hardest lessons, if we were blessed enough to get that, I think we all must have got at least once, be it a coach, a teacher, a parent, grandparent, friend. And that's when you're swimming in your own shift and you reach up a hand and they say, this is on you. I mean, you know, your fault, my fault, nobody's fault. This is your deal. But I think now we can actually throw a little bit more, because of our expanded awareness, we can actually throw in, or we have more compassion, which is really weird, because you think if you have more compassion, you know, I can save more people. But this is it. Honor you. I'm going to honor your ability. I'm going to honor your divinity. I'm going to honor your humanity, and allow you to do what I'm asking everyone to let me do.
Yes.
Let me heal myself. Let me, you know, straighten my path. Let me climb these hills. You know, I don't need anyone to do it for me, because I see the value of when I do it for myself. And I think that's what everybody's getting to.
Yeah. And the likes of our own immediate friends, family, or whatever, when you see them in that deep water, and the old way was somebody saying, sink or swim.
Yeah.
Instead of you going in and trying to pull them out, you can go to the side of the water and say, listen, breathe.
Yeah.
Start kicking your feet.
Yeah.
Start moving your arms. Start treading the water.
Yeah.
You're empowering them then. Yeah. You're not trying to fix it. I am a self-professed recovering people pleaser and people fixer.
Yeah.
But that was a default thing that I went to, a coping mechanism I did, something I did in order to fill a void when I was in my search for connection. Yeah. Hey, come here, let me fix you. Why? Yeah. Because you're going to feel better and I'm going to feel better, albeit temporarily. But
wounded healer archetype. Wounded healer archetype. You know, And I like that that analogy. They're in a puddle or a pool, or they're drowning, and you go to the edge. How do we actually tell them that? You know how we actually tell them that? We just do it.
Yes.
And they see, oh, wait a minute, they got out of that crater over there. They got out of it. They're muddy and they're walking and you know they're moving forward. They did it. I can do it. I mean, it's really not even a verbal thing. It's just what we do. Like even like you or Amanda Lawrence. It's just the energy itself that actually speaks. I love Amanda. She's my sister. She is like I'm as close to her as any sister. Most of what she writes, I couldn't even tell you what it is. I don't need to see the words. I don't need to read the words. I don't need to hear. I love doing a video with her, and I'd love to get her back on the show sometime soon. But it's just the energy.
Imagine what's going to happen if you teamed up with the two of us here together.
Oh my God. We'd wake all the gods.
I adore her. I adore her. And myself and Amanda have walked side by side through this journey in the last month and been keys for each other. It's been just epic. She's
I get that. Yeah, I get that.
One of my people who you jump on a call for like 5 minutes with, and then 3 hours later, there's nothing done in the house.
I rarely reach out
away from things.
I rarely reach out to anybody, but I've reached out to her a couple times. So I understand your connection with her. I get it. Yeah, and that would be interesting. We could that'd be a very good show. So you hit her up, and I'll hit her up.
Yeah, that did work.
So we have today's a really special day. I guess today is the first day of the Galactic New Year. I don't know who came up with that, and I don't know. Doesn't matter. Let's just make it that. Let's make it a new day. Let's make it the first day of our new life, of our new world. And we started it with you, and I'm really appreciative of that. I really love your energy, and I know many people do. And it's so nice from the first time we met, which I think was 3 or 4 shows ago, to see, and I know the same could probably be said for me, but to see you transforming, further transforming. The one thing that really gets to me is when I see stagnation in myself, in Soulogy, in my relationships. I love growth, and to see these people who have connected and have stepped out, and then to step out like you did at the top of the show and say, man, I've been effed up the last 2 weeks, but I'm here and I'm showing up, and what you see is what you get. I mean, that's beautiful, you know. So it's really a pleasure to start this day with you. We got Sandra Walter is going to be on in 1 hour and 50 minutes, and Franco Dina Carlo will be 2 hours after that. So it's a really nice triad today, and I appreciate you. And all blessings to you and yours. I don't know how you do it, but thanks for doing it.
Thank you. I really appreciate that so much. I really do. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, you take care.
Until next time. Mwah.
Talk to Amanda.
I'm
Let's gang up on her. All right.
I'm all over that shit.
All right. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.